I think
Welcome
we're back.
We're I don't know. We're dark, but we're welcome back. I think we're on.
We're on.
Okay, all right. Well, we're dark, I guess, on our monitor. I guess Blake Bowser and Matt sucked all the life out of the thing.
That's right. He left us in the dark for
left
sure.
us in the dark here
but
because they just
we've got Scott Schweitzer to enlighten us.
Yeah, Scott Schweitzer has brought back the light.
We'll bring it back. They
hogged most of his time because they had Dar Hoffman on there, and he got a little verbose at the end there. But it was great, though. Dar's always fantastic. But Scott's here to talk about, let's just say how many we're in the process of crowning champions. It's hard to believe that the season is winding down here. Well, it's not really winding down because you still got the Bud Nationals, and we got the Turkey Bowl or the Turkey Shootout.
The point season is winding down.
Yeah.
That's how that's the terminology we use.
Right. But it's a fun time of the year though. Because
it is. Yeah.
I'm seeing all this activity and people are like, championship, I'm in the hunt, and things are starting to feel good about.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a great season.
The full year of hard work is starting to pay off because now we're starting to see the champions, and champions are being crowned. We had some crowned last weekend.
Right.
This weekend we'll have some crowned. So that's the cool part. The whole year of hard work and the long nights in the garage working on cars and all that is now paying off because they're going to get that championship.
All right, let's talk a little bit. Mike, you were there this weekend, and why don't you guys talk for a second? I got to just deal with one quick thing. I'm going to jump off the set for a second. Go ahead and.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things last weekend they crowned some champions, but we think about the Mod Light division where Zach Forrester has pretty much dominated, won basically almost every race this year, but he had to work for it. Jeff Fry was out there running in front, and Zach had to really drive that car.
Yeah, it's really starting to show the more and more races we've had throughout the year, how the other competitors are getting more comfortable with the cars and they're catching him, they're reeling him in and giving him some more competition. I don't think it's as easy as it was at the beginning of the year for Zach. And then you have people like Spain Howard that's a sport mod guy that jumps in a mod light to have fun. Then we still constantly hear more people buying these cars. So it's going to be interesting as the seasons go by, and Zach did make the comment that Roy Maynard Jr. bought the 44 car, so that winning car he had for this season's now moved on to somebody else, so Zach's going to have to pick up something else.
Yeah, I don't think Zach's going to have any trouble picking up another car, but good for him for building this class, and he talked a little bit about that because he wants his daughter to run, but this class has gone from a couple of cars to basically 12 to 15 cars, and as we saw, much better competition in September than there was in April.
Yeah, we're really fortunate in the Mod Light division or racing in general to have people like Zach Forrester, where he says he helps these guys get into cars. He was very, very active in the mini dwarf class, and now he's taken some of those kids and young racers that he's helped, in mini dwarfs, moving them up to the Mod Light. So it's good to see, glad to have him, and we're looking forward to seeing the class grow and grow. And we got him on the Thanksgiving Thunder race, so hopefully we'll get some out-of-town cars, maybe from Arizona and stuff, to really see this thing grow.
And then the mini dwarfs finished up their regular point season as well, and Jacob Carey in senior mini dwarfs comes away with the championship, and that was a tough class. There's not a lot of multiple winners in that class.
No, and the interesting thing about Jacob Carey that I don't think a lot of people knew is he should have been a junior mini dwarf, and his dad, came to me at the end of the season after they won the championship and asked if they could move him up, and I said absolutely. So this kid was really a junior mini dwarf and was battling in the senior class and ended up taking the championship. So this kid, I have to look back on our stats, but I think it's the first mini dwarf driver we had that has won the junior mini dwarf championship and then the senior mini dwarf championship. So, hats off to the Carey family and Jacob for doing that. So because he's really a junior mini dwarfer, and he won the senior mini dwarf championship.
And then on the junior mini dwarf division, we had Mr. Radcliffe. He didn't win. He got the championship. I think he finished second on Saturday night, but he's got, I forgot how many wins. He's won 6 or 7 out there, and maybe he's moving up next year.
Yeah, Mason, man, what a year he's had. That kid he's dominated that class this season and really showed, and it's had him and Jacob being teammates, their dads all working together, and it really shows, and they've got his car hooked up, and that kid really put on a clinic this year. So I don't know. I haven't heard yet if he's going to move up to the seniors, but a great year for Mason.
And we know that Zach's still involved in mini dwarfs because his son's racing out there, Cole, and he's looking pretty good. And then we know, of course, that Zach's very involved in the Cade Lewis car, his brother, Colby, Zach's half-brother, Colby.
It's sort of interesting, though, you were talking about that before, that if you take away sort of all the shenanigans involved with the mini dwarf racing, and some of the now at this point of the season, it looks like some of these kids are trying to figure out how to drive these cars, and you're seeing some competitive races. Looks like, especially that junior mini dwarf class.
Yeah, it can be, and I think this year there were a lot of young junior mini dwarf. There were a lot of junior mini dwarf drivers, 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, first season in the car, maybe second season car, maybe ran a handful of races, and it takes a while to grow. And as Scott's got a program on some Sundays, especially more during the off season, Chris Kearns puts on some mini dwarf and go kart racing on Saturdays. These kids can learn a little more.
How important is that for you? I mean, to have those kids racing on Sundays too.
It's really good because they get a lot of laps, and it's not a high pressure situation. We don't really have the time clock in effect. So like we had one Sunday, our first one, and I think we had 11 kids in the juniors class. So it's a chance for them to get a lot of laps, and that's what's important under race conditions. And it's a lot more relaxed situation because, like I said, it's not under the lights and all the fans and all that. So they get to have a good time. They have they have a hot lap session with 6 laps, 2 10-lap heat races, and then they have a 20-lap main event. So for $35, what they pay to race on a Sunday, man, they get a ton of laps, and it's very beneficial to a lot of them.
That's all that matters. Is as long as you get those laps in. I mean, that's the beauty of youth sports. Is the more, I mean, driving is a learned skill. It's you can teach it, and these kids, the more they get into it, the more comfortable they get.
Yeah, during a race situation, you've got other cars out there, the track conditions, and that's when, you can take them out there by themselves. I let a lot of kids use the track during the week to make some laps, and they go out there by themselves. But until you really get in a race situation with 7, 8, 9 different other cars, that's when you're really going to tell. So Sunday is a great time. We do it once a month. It's on the website. If for any of them mini dwarfers that want to get some extra laps, it's a great way to do it on Sundays.
All right, so where are we at, Mike? I'm sorry, I had to wear my other hat.
We've talked about mini dwarfs and we have talked about the mod lights, and so now we can probably go on to what's coming up next week.
We got the USAC midgets coming up this weekend. That's going to be a big one. Modified sport mods, mini stocks, CDCRA, Ignite midgets, but modified sport mods. What's going on there in the point standing? Who do we? Is it still pretty tight, or what do we got going on?
Well, in the A mods, I think Brad Pound's pretty much got a handle on that. But an interesting situation for this weekend is we just got done with Boone, the Super Nationals, and Jay Marks has got a new car, a side-biter chassis that he had a guy from New Mexico race, and they brought it back to California. And the word is that Brad's going to be in that car,
really? Wow.
driving a totally different chassis, going to be getting out of the side-biter and getting out of his on-it chassis that him and his dad manufacture themselves and get into a side-biter. So it should be an interesting deal because Brad's only win this season at the Bakersfield Speedway is when he was in someone else's car.
Oh, so really? Okay.
Could be a really interesting deal, but I think Brad's pretty much got the lock on that.
Okay. And Sport Mod has been a very, very interesting season.
Yeah, Nick Spainhauer's got the lead and a little bit of an edge there.
But another interesting note on that, Friday night, Nick Spainhauer blew up his engine in Hanford last Friday. So here we go, racing on Friday and getting things tore up and trying to race on Saturday. Now he's in the heat of the points battle, so they're scrambling to find motor and stuff. So he definitely, I talked to him Saturday night after he raced the Mod Light, and he definitely wants the championship for Bakersfield Speedway. So they're on the hunt. They're scrambling to try to get a power plant so he can make the last 2 races.
It means so much to him, too. We went to your award ceremony last season. I mean, just it was such a great event, and so many people that you could tell that championship meant something.
Well, to talk to Nick after the races Saturday night, him and I are the only ones before we're locking the gate up, and that's what he said. He said, I've raced a lot of places, hit a lot of tracks, but he goes, but the one thing I want is a Bakersfield Speedway championship, and that was pretty cool to hear him say that.
Let's go to the results.
And part of that, quick on the sport mods coming up, Gary Dutton's going to be back from Boone, where he finished 10th in the A main on a Saturday night at Boone, and that's a heck of a feat.
Started 24th, too.
180, basically somewhere around 180 sport mods trying to work your way to the Saturday night show of about 30 cars. No easy feat. Started 24th, finished 10th. Hats off to Gary Dutton.
Absolutely. All right. By the way, what is the price for this weekend? It's the $16?
$16.
$16.
Yes.
And then camping and parking is
Free.
There you go. Hobby Stocks, Kevin Collier with the win. Steven Johnson blew up late, or broke late, and Kevin Collier got the win there. That's his 8th, 9th, 10th win of the season?
8th, 9th.
Yeah, he's got a lot. He's
got
so many doors. Yeah.
And he had some good luck, and Robert Lawler had some bad luck again, and Kevin pretty much just has to keep his nose clean.
Yep.
for the championship.
All right. Mod Lights, Zach Forster with the win there over Jeff Fry, Nick Spain-Howard. I mean, this class, it continues to mature, continues to be interesting. And a lot of cars in this one. Moving on to the mini stocks, Tina Bell beating out Doug Shepard. This has been the story of the year. These two battling it out every week, or every other week, I should say.
Yeah, although Lonnie Spiller has done it, had a good solid season. She's second in points. So the two girls, rookies. So the two girls are leading the way. So good for them.
NMRA Midgets, West Evans with the win. He's won a few this season over Bruce Hiroshima, Chuck West, Kevin Kale, Ace Kale, and Doyle Mosley in those midget races. Senior Mediadorf, Lane McDonald with the win over Seth Weiss. Chloe Jones finishing third. That's one of her better finishes of the season. Stephen Johnson, Bailey Thompson running at your top 5. And in the junior Mediadorf, Cade Lewis with his second win of the season over Mason Ratcliffe, and Hank Hall in third, Mallory Myers in fourth, and Trenton Rickle in fifth place. So there you go. Those are your results. Saturday, going to be a long day, going to be a tough day, but tell us your thoughts real quick on Saturday.
Well, we're going to have a life celebration service, 10 o'clock Saturday morning for Mike Mosier. Really looking forward to that. We're going to see a lot of people there, and it's going to be good. They said about an hour-long church service, then it's going to go out to Greenlawn Southwest for the graveside. So it's going to be it's tough. I choke up every time I talk about it, but it's they got a video and all that planned, so it's going to be a tough service to go through. But we're celebrating a life of a great man. So
the more that we read about it and hear about it, the more comes out about what he did. I mean, nobody is perfect, but is that your thought too? Like, I didn't realize he did that, or I didn't realize he did that, or I didn't realize he did that. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, I sit back now. I found myself up in the tower just sitting Saturday, and man, if I'd have known then what I know now, there would have been a lot more time I would have spent up there talking about these things that he did, and because he's just a cool, interesting, man, and did a lot of things that I didn't even know about, and to hear all of his friends and families now put all this out there, I mean, he was a great man, lived a great life, and was a friend to everybody. So, like I said, a tough loss for everybody, and we're sure going to miss him.
We are going to miss him too, but we'll look forward to racing this weekend and a busy weekend as well. And thanks to you, Scott, for being here with us. We're going to take a quick break, real quick break, and we'll be right back with Steve Hughes from Kirk County Raceway Park.